Hello, dear fellow citizen of the earth. It's just me. On this cold winter's day, we are going to go to Miyajima, one of Japan's most famous travel destinations. But this California girl doesn't like to get too cold, so I'm going to turn on the heat with some spicy hot Japan travel takes. Agree or disagree, you're going to have to tune in to find out. Believe me, as a serial Japan traveler, I have a lot of hot takes. This is actually my first time going to Miyajima, despite going to Japan countless times, which brings me to my first take. Screw the popular stuff. When I ask people about what their favorite part of their Japan trip was, it's never that shrine that everyone tells you to go to. I've heard people say their highlights were things like cooking with grannies, surfing, riding interesting trains, jamming in a jazz bar, hiking a volcano, not Mount Fuji, but an actually nice looking one, or traveling 18 hours to rural Japan to see some hydrangea. I'm not saying skip the golden routes altogether, but make time for the things that are uniquely you. In a similar vein, Japan feeds obsessions like no place else. I mean, they have a word for it, otaku, which isn't just limited to people interested in anime and manga, but really is just someone who has an all-consuming passion to the detriment of everything else. Westerners tend to go broad in their hobbies, but Japanese people tend to go deep. So take any one of your hobbies and you'll see it perform to excellency in Japan. I mean, have you seen the stationery here? If someone put that much thought into a pen, you can be sure that they put a ton more thought into things that are actually worth it, like food or coffee, music or sports. Anyway, back to the trip. We are here in Hiroshima because it is a gateway to Miyajima. Quite spicy, but since we're here, between Nagasaki and Hiroshima, Nagasaki has the better atomic bomb museum. Honestly, Hiroshima's museum can feel revisionist. However, there is a distinction between the focuses of each museum, and it's in their names. Hiroshima's museum is a memorial museum, so it focuses on the suffering of Japanese victims, whereas Nagasaki is an atomic bomb museum, and additionally covers World War II events leading up to the bombings, as well as Japan's own role in the escalation. It also has some very inspirational insights on Nagasaki's path to recovery. On the whole, Hiroshima's museum is just sad, but Nagasaki's museum also felt educational and uplifting in a way. Japan is really good at tourism, and it's not just limited to reeling in an international audience, but there is a lot of effort put into promoting domestic tourism as well. Every prefecture has its specialty to get people spending, and as a result, I think that local prefectural specialties are often just a cash grab. They know you're on vacation, you have money to spare, and you're in a good mood, so they charge you $30 for tofu or $100 for beef, $50 for local eel in Hiroshima. Unless you're a serious foodie, it's okay to skip it. I'm giving you permission to resist the FOMO. Now we are going to take a ferry from Hiroshima to Miyajima. And we have finally arrived. It is a cold and cloudy day, but this island is still very beautiful. Wow, Miyajima is really cool. Both Miyajima and Nara have the deer and a nice shrine, but I find that Miyajima is more scenic. They are definitely both worth a visit though. Here's another hot take. Animals are not treated well in Japan. They are entertainment. They're there to be kawaii. The animals at many animal-centric attractions, such as zoos, cat, owl, dog cafes, don't seem very happy. And I kind of get the feeling we shouldn't be interacting with wild animals like this. But as a result, you get these close interactions with animals that make you feel like Cinderella. Hello, and welcome to my room. So I booked this place really last minute, just a couple days ago. It was around $65. I just wanted to stay on the island itself. So here we have the genkan. Yep, just one toilet. And this closet. Oh yes, I have to arrange my own futon today. There we go. Bathtub super deep, but there's a onsen that's probably more comfortable and nice feeling. There's the sink. That's really interesting. This room actually fits 5 people. So if you had, say, 5 people sleeping here, it would actually be super cheap accommodation. It's like $10-15 per person. Very spacious for me, myself, and I. What is that? It's a free snack! Tea. Nice. This is a really cute way to patch the paper doors when they break or have holes. This chair is mine. And so is this chair. This one's mine too. And so is this chair. Actually, none of them were my chairs. I had to relinquish custody because my bathroom was leaking and they gave me a different hotel room. Take 2. This one's a smaller room. This room's got a better view, so it's got that going for it. Going on a walk. Hopefully I don't meet any bears because that would be bad. But today is very, very cold and it's actually freezing. They're putting a very lively aquarium show. I love lonely forested paths. Not gonna lie, sorta creepy. Wow. So that is the big famous shrine. It's very crowded down there. There's lots of tourists, but here it's really quiet and there's a lot of space to just walk around and explore. Did you know the most common amount to offer Japanese deities is 5 yen? This is because 5 yen, or goen in Japanese, is a homonym for good connection, so offering 5 yen signifies a desire to forge good connections with the deity. Miyajima is actually quite a sizable island. The touristy parts and Itsukushima Shrine are all concentrated in one area, but it was so enjoyable to check out the rest of the island. I prefer the peace and quiet of enjoying it up here rather than down there. There's also more deer here. If I were a deer, I would hang around here because it's more chaotic down near the touristy area. A key attraction in Miyajima, as you may know, is to see how the changing of the tides transforms the scenery. It's a cloudy day, but the moodiness is pretty cool. After checking out low-ish tide, I decided to head back to the hotel to warm up. Do you hear that? Stuff in Japan is like so loud. Like, there's always these random noises. I think that's coming from the aquarium, but I'm not sure. Maybe to signify that it's closing. Okay, so at this place I have to set up the futon by myself. I'm gonna set up right here. Time for another take. You have to try staying at a Japanese style hotel when you come. Don't do it in a big city. I don't think that's very authentic. It doesn't have to be expensive. Taking a hot bath and lying on tatami is a simple pleasure. There we go. There's my bed. I love how cute this is, where you're like protecting the blanket but also showing off its cute design. It is so pretty. The sky has completely cleared up. Wanted to turn in early, but this means I have to go out and take advantage of the good weather. Kind of like when the sun is out, I feel like eating ice cream, but when the sun is covered up and it's all cloudy, then I'm like freezing cold and I just want to be inside. Miyajima is obviously a place where you want to see it at high tide and low tide, but Japan extends this kind of thinking elsewhere. There's so many tourist attractions where they do some kind of light up at night, and they're like, now you have to see it in the day and night. And of course, a lot of the time you need to pay another ticket to see it at night after seeing it in the day. They also do this with the seasons. They'll say, oh, you gotta come back in the spring for cherry blossoms, come back in the summer for greenery, come back in the fall. It's gonna look different. And they're not wrong about that. It's just a lot of money. Time to take a bath. I just saw some old ladies go in, so I guess I'm going to bathe with some grannies. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. Bye. My $65 room came with this excellent breakfast spread, and I come with a hot food take. Japanese food is pretty bland. Now don't cancel me, I love it, I think it's healthy, but think about it. There's ramen on one side of the spectrum for flavor, and there's sushi on the other. In the middle, there's not a whole lot going on. There's soy, miso, or kombu flavored stuff, which is pretty one note and it can get pretty boring. I think there's a larger emphasis on presentation and execution rather than in dimension and flavor. I often like eating pizza and Korean food when I go to Japan. I'm so glad I stayed the night, and I recommend you do so as well if you come to Miyajima, because it is turning out to be a beautiful day. Not a cloud in the sky, so different from yesterday. And this is where I stayed for the night. It is a very peaceful morning. Not a lot of tourists have come yet. This place was really crowded yesterday, but now it's reminiscent of a sleepy little town. Coming at you with my spiciest take, American nature is better than Japanese nature. Now before you come at me with pitchforks, is that so surprising? America is way bigger. Forests, fall foliage, mountains, streams, lakes, waterfalls, hot springs, we have it all, but better. However, I don't think the beauty of Japan is necessarily about the nature itself, but how Japanese society integrates and interacts with nature. Think 1,000-year-old shrines on the mountaintops and communities built into the mountains. Think cherry blossom trees being cultivated over many generations, thousands of years. And the way that the architecture blends harmoniously with its surroundings or sticks out ostentatiously. That is what makes Japan so beautiful. And best of all, it's easily accessible with Japan's infrastructure, with all its tunneling and cross-country trains, as well as highway bus routes. Lastly, Japan travel is addictive. No matter what you do, you're going to end up wanting to come back. Do you agree with my takes, or am I totally off course? Let me know in the comments.